Jack Hughes is a guy who, I mean, he's not on that level yet. I mean, he hasn't had the playoff success. He's a guy who I would say gets ripped a shit ton though in the New Jersey and New York media. What does this do for a guy like Jack Hughes? Because I mean, obviously, I didn't even realize maybe it's this effect of like this happens for me with NBA players too. I want your opinion on this, where I hear their age, and because of how young they got there and like how quick they were in the league, I had no clue how young they were. Like if you asked me how old Jack Hughes was, I would have told you 27. I had no clue he was 24. Like he's a guy who's still so young, ridiculous to be like you talked about, like been in the hard conversation. Like where does Jack Hughes go from here? Because is this not the best launching pad you could ask for?
Yeah, well, a couple things there. You mentioned how I look at things through the Penguins lens. I just like to quickly recognize one of the greatest Americans of all time, who I'm wearing right now, Phil Kessel, the Thrill, three-time Cup champ. Wish that he could have been a part of a team like this, but yeah, no, and you're right about everything with Sid. It seemed like he achieved everything that there really was to achieve in hockey so early, and even the losing too, right? Like I think that so much of what these guys do that makes them better is, when you're the best of the best, they find a way to take whatever kind of adversity they've faced. For Sid, he would probably be the first to admit to you that he really didn't have too much adversity. He was always kind of that stud. He goes one overall. He's putting up points in the NHL like nothing, but they lose to Detroit in '08 in the final. And he talks about it. You never know as a player if you're ever going to get a chance to compete in a stage of Stanley Cup Finals again, but they get it done, and scores the golden goal in 2010. And now, yeah, you're right. Jack Hughes finds himself maybe in somewhat of a similar company, just given the fact that they both scored overtime game-winning goals that delivered their country a gold medal. I mean, Jack Hughes, I think, and he talked about it in the media scrums that he did before they left Milan. He's gone through adversity a lot with injuries in his career. That's been the thing with him, right? Like, I think that probably part of the reason why his team in New Jersey hasn't had as much success as they've wanted to since they took him one overall was because he just hasn't maybe been as available as he'd like to be. But I think that really what you saw with him, like he was just a guy that wanted the puck on his stick in that moment. And I think that's such a big differentiator. And I think that that's something that he's always going to kind of be able to take back to him, to take back with him to the NHL.
Yeah.
He's a guy that he wants to be the difference maker. And so when you score a goal like this and you deliver in a moment like that, I think that Jack Hughes, even though his career path is not the same as somebody like a Sidney Crosby or anything like that, he has gotten better to me every year that he's played in the NHL. I mean, Jack, he only scored like 24 points his rookie year, and he kind of had a little bit of a slower trajectory in terms of guys who were number one overall picks. But I mean, he was a point shy of 100 the one year when he was really healthy. And so I think for him, like, he's back to full health despite cutting his hand and all that BS that he went through
Maybe like
earlier.
a steakhouse or something.
Yeah, like team party or something. A wine glass got him.
Oh, there's got to be a good one behind that.
Watch out for the booze, baby. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, he's going to be able to feed off this. I think guys like him, you can tell how much the confidence
player.
The confidence that they have in themselves impacts how they go out there and they play. And he's going to, I think, be just on fire for as long as he stays healthy going back there. I mean, that's got to do something for your psyche that nothing else can. I mean, he and Sidney Crosby are really the only two guys that can remember what a moment like that feels like and take that back and use that for themselves and have that kind of within them. So he's going to be a stud going back, I think, for sure.
So how much, because I mean, we kind of talked about there for a second, like building momentum off of having a great Olympic tournament. Like if you take a guy like Slavkovsky, for example, prior Olympics, like had like 8 goals or something like that, propels him, gets drafted first overall. His name's escaping me. What's the name of the Iowa Wild goalie who was Slovakia's goalie?
Oh, Halavai.
So take a kid like that, for example, right? Like I was talking to my buddy Ethan about this. Like he might have like a sub-9 or something in the American League right now. Like just like random. Like I'm not. I don't think he's doing that great. Comes into the Olympics, has like a 920, 930 or something like that. For a guy like him, do you think that growth can still kind of transfer over? Because like I was really fascinated by, like, I read an article on the Athletic about some of the international teams who don't necessarily have like 20 NHL guys. Like some of these guys are like, hey, like this could be my shot to make it on over there.
Yeah, I think that it's probably a really individual type thing, right? Talking about Halava, I mean, he's a goalie. There's only
So
so
do you think it's easier for a goalie or harder in that sense?
goalies are all weird, man. They,
Yeah.
they all got something going on that makes them a little quirkier than other hockey players. But you know, the thing I'll say is like, if you're a skater, like it's different, right? Like you can go out there and you play shift by shift and you're on and you're off and you can kind of break the game down in that respect. But as a goalie, you're a little bit more on an island, and a lot of how you play as a goaltender kind of comes down to what your team looks like in front of you. I think that probably maybe a better use case for this is honestly one of the two guys that's playing in the gold that played in the gold medal game is Hellebuck or Bennington. I think that I mean, Bennington's a guy that has never wavered in the confidence that he's gotten himself, right? But he just kind of finds himself in a little bit of a tough situation with how the Blues are playing this year. They're kind of down in the Central Division there, and I think that led to people. I mean, I know it led to people questioning
Oh yeah, they did.
whether or not he was the starter for Team Canada. And he goes out, he plays his ass off. He made unbelievable saves. He's certainly not the reason they lost that game in the for the gold medal. I mean, goalies are just tougher because it's so much is reliant upon what goes on in front of them. But I mean, yeah, like all these guys take pride in playing for their country and having an opportunity to showcase themselves like that. So I think everybody would be better off with taking confidence back with them to their team. I mean, what else are you going to do? You just went out there and you played with the best, however, X number of guys in the entire world when it comes to ice hockey. So, I mean, yeah, man, just go back and let it fly. Pimp the glove save a little bit harder next time,
Yeah.
let them know it was across the pond playing and you weren't. So, yeah.
I think like possibly the biggest debate going on right now in the sport of hockey as we kind of shift from the Olympics. I mean, it's about the Olympics, but shifting from the Olympics over to the NHL season is that 3-on-3 overtime to end it. So obviously, Stanley Cup playoffs, you're still going just your classic 7 games. You got your 5-on-5 until the sun goes down and comes back up until there's a puck in the back of the net. 3-on-3, yes or no?
No, I think everybody would tell you no. Yeah, we're used to it in the NHL, like you said, where you're going to play 5-on-5 until everybody literally dies on the ice.
Yeah.
They scrape their corpses off. I mean, I think we all understand that that's the way it should be. I liked that whenever they played the Four Nations, it was 5-on-5. Of course, that was an NHL sanctioned tournament, so they were able to mimic the rules pretty much to a T. But I mean, this is international competition and it's different. And, win or lose for the United States, like 3-on-3 is what it was going to be.
Yeah.
And everybody knew that going into it.
They didn't spring it on them. Yeah.
Like they flipped a coin before they went out for overtime there while they were cutting the ice and said, all right, guys, we're going to play 3-on-3. I saw like John Cooper talking about how, you take 4 guys off the ice and you play 3-on-3 and it's not hockey anymore. I just think that that's the quote of a sore loser, Jack, because it's not like Canada played with 3 guys and the United States played with 4 or 5. And it's not like anybody was complaining about anything whenever Canada beat Czechia in the quarters under the 3-on-3 format. I didn't hear John Cooper say that, that wasn't really a hockey game that we just won. I think that that's a little bit of a sore loser type quote. And so, I like John Cooper a lot, but I didn't really like what he had to say about that. The reality is that, you knew the rule and you're the coach and you've got to be prepared for whatever scenario you might find your team in whenever it comes to competing for a medal like this. And so, the other thing I don't think that they can really say or complain about this for is because they had Makar, McDavid, and McKinnon out on the sheet.
Like 3-on-3 was built for them.
Yeah, I mean, those 3 guys in particular, I mean, you can have the debate of where Crosby still ranks, but like I think Crosby would be the first guy to tell you he's not going to be out there with those guys in that situation. They're probably rolling those three guys anyway because they can all move and they can all, make plays out there with that kind of time and space. And so, look, like they got beat. You play 3-on-3, and that's just the way it goes. The other thing I'll say too, Jack, is that the last time there was a scenario like this, the golden goal was whenever it went Canada's way, and it was Crosby. And people might forget that they weren't playing 5-on-5 in that one either. They played 4
Was
on
that 4v4?
played 4-on-4, and so like nobody complained about that one whenever they scored to win 4-on-4. So yeah, I mean the rule is the rule. It's not the NHL, it's international competition, and everybody knew it was going to be 3-on-3 if that was the scenario they found themselves in, tied after regulation. And so it is what it is. I wish it was 5-on-5, but it wasn't.
No, I mean, that's the way you got to sum it up to. Is like obviously ideal world you're playing that as a 5-on-5 hockey game until the wits end of it, right? But I was talking to my buddy Ethan about this. We touched on NHL for a minute, recording something else a second ago. Like you do also have to factor in that there's 1,000 different sports going on. There's a closing medal ceremony, and they're the be all end all for the whole entire international committee. Olympics committee is not the men's title game for hockey. But and you're right too. Great point. Like I mean, 4v4. I didn't even think about that. That it was 4v4 back in Vancouver in 2010. Highest stock guys as we head back into the NHL season now. It's a little bit different from what we talked about before with like Hughes and like the Iowa goalie, or like Binnington and Hellebuck heading back over. Like, who are the guys that you just saw that play the best hockey out there? They're like, oh, like maybe not. I didn't know this guy or anything, but like, oh, this guy's pretty damn good. He's gonna be good the rest of the year.
Yeah, well, we'll work our way up to USA because I think there's some clear winners there, but maybe just like a couple guys that really catch me outside of them. I think Slafkovsky, if he can really get any higher. I mean, it seems that every time that you kind of revisit this guy's career trajectory, he's getting a little better. Like you had mentioned earlier that he kind of popped off 4 years ago in the Olympics around the time he got drafted, and that was a really big moment for him. And he seems to have gotten even better since then. And even in Montreal, they're starting to be able to break him off of that line with Suzuki and Caulfield, where he'd normally be playing on the wing with those two. But now, Marty St. Louis realizes that this guy can kind of drive a line on his own. And he certainly did that in the Olympics too. So he just continues to kind of climb really nicely in terms of his play. So the Slovakian team in general, I thought was a really good story from the Olympics, but him specifically from that team, that was really, really good. I'm trying to think who else here. I mean, even like Celebrini, right? Like he's top 5 right now in the league in points. I think he might be 4th as we sit right now. But I mean, to make the team as a 19-year-old, I mean, it's not like he was an injury replacement or anything. And
he'll be a Hart finalist, right?
I don't know. The time will tell. But I mean, he's competing right now for the Art Ross with McKinnon and McDavid, guys who were his teammates in this tournament. But like, John Cooper sticks him in the top 6 right away. He's playing right up there. He doesn't blink, and he scores in his first game. I think he might have scored in like every game, honestly, except for the gold medal game. I might have to check myself on that, but I know he had like 5 goals in this tournament. And so, he's 19, and you might think like, yeah, he's deserving to be there. Nobody questioned that. But in terms of his performance, I think he's another guy that's going to just, similar to what I was saying about it, the confidence with Jack Hughes, like he's going to go back to the NHL and he's going to be that much better for the Sharks.
I feel like Celebrini had 4 or 5 great A's, probably 2 in the game on Sunday. Like, imagine if he popped the winner. Like, talk about the Crosby trajectory.
Hit a breakaway in the 3rd period.
Yeah.
And Hellebuck saved that. And then in the kind of the last minute there, Jack, after, we had been on the power play and then Jack Hughes high-sticked Bo Horvat, we found ourselves shorthanded. And it seemed like they fed Celebrini in that bumper spot in the slot like 3 times for one-timers. And, whether it was, somebody getting a stick on it or he just missed the net, I don't know. Those were 3 big bullets that we dodged there. I mean, that's a scary guy to have shooting the puck like that. So, his stock continues to rise for me. Even Bennington too.
Yeah.
I think
Well, there were so many. You touched on it earlier, but between him and Logan Thompson, there were so many doubts about if that should be his net or not. And like
yeah.
to come out and like he didn't even have a clunker, did he?
No, I mean he played well in every game that they had him out there for, and you know he's always been a flat liner, and he stayed the same way. I mean he was nails in there for him. In overtime, he would flash the glove on Quinn Hughes before we eventually won it about a minute later. But I mean, yeah, he went out there and he made saves, and people might have questioned his credibility in terms of being the starter. He shut all that down. So I think automatically for me, your stock rises if you're able to kind of block out all that kind of noise.
And if you take like 2019 Game 7 and Four Nations last year, like, is there a goalie who has a better track record entering Sunday of these types of games?
I don't know, man. I'd have to do my research, but I mean, it's impressive type stuff to be able to go in there and do that. I mean, he's just a gamer. It's as simple as it is. I mean, as if people needed reminded just a year after the Four Nations, which apparently they did. I mean, they found out with this guy. In terms of the U.S., for me, there's a couple, and I could probably talk a little bit more about these guys just because I was more dialed in on that our team.
Our games, yeah.
But I mean, number one for me, and this was a guy that I had listened to other podcasts, and Kevin BX picked this guy too, and I was looking at him for sure, was Dylan Larkin. I mean, just like heart and soul of the team, number one, which is, you have to have a guy like that. He's just like, you can tell the energy pours out of this guy. But in terms of the impact that he's got out on the ice, it's been a slow burn in Detroit, and they're trying to get back to the playoffs now, and it looks like this might be their year to get back into that dance. But I mean, maybe because they haven't been in the playoffs, as many people don't know about Dylan Larkin as maybe they should. I mean, the guy has.
I had no clue how fast he was.
The guy has a motor like I've never seen, man. Maybe outside like Kirill Kaprizov. Like, this guy can just play. He skates like very few other guys can in the league. And he scored big goals for the team. I mean, he scored the first goal against Slovakia in the semis. He scored against Sweden on that play off the draw. He won the faceoff. He goes right to the net, use one timer, and he deflects it in. I mean, he just seemed to get better all the way through. And like, even like Four Nations last year, when the U.S. beat Canada in the round robin play of that tournament, like he had that goal in that game where he came down the right wing and beat Bennington low blocker. He is just always a guy that seems to like rise to the occasion, and he's out on the ice when we score the golden goal. He just got better every game, and so people probably took notice of that. And he's playing like the third line center position on that team. And, like any other hockey game between two really good teams, that there's going to be good top line players, but you really have to. So much emphasis is placed on, can you win the third line matchup? Can you be better in the bottom six? And I thought that he was probably the difference, honestly. His line was always good when they went out there. So Dylan Larkin for me, the Michigan man. He's only ever played in Michigan his whole life. Now he wins a gold medal. I mean, it's just awesome stuff. I mean, Hellebuck, just because similar to Bennington, like, just people doubt, can this guy win the big game? And he goes out there and he does it. I mean, can't win a bigger game than that if you're Hellebuck. For me, I think, nobody's ever doubted this guy's talent, but Austin Matthews, and maybe it's because he plays in Toronto and the people up there are just absolutely relentless. But, so much questioned about, like, why is this guy the captain? He's never won anything. And can this guy lead this team to be Olympic champions? And, when's he going to come through in the big moment for them? I thought that he was like unbelievable. And I really appreciate guys who play center and play the full 200 feet. He plays the full 200 feet like you wouldn't believe. I mean, he didn't end up on the score sheet in that gold medal game, but consistently throughout the tournament, but especially in that game, he's so good in his own zone. He always seems to know like where his guy is when he's coming back on the back check. He had the assist on Matt Boldy's goal in the gold medal game. He wins that battle on the wall. He makes the pass to Boldy. Boldy does the rest, but if Matthews doesn't win the battle on the wall and get that puck to him, then you know
Null and void. Yeah.
rule number one is like you just got to get the puck out of your own zone, and you got to win those kind of battles on the wall, and he did that. He's he's a winner. It's like what the Hughes brothers said when they were defending him kind of against that one question post game where the guy was asking him, what can you take back from this to Toronto? And Matthews is like, I'm trying to live in the moment, man. And Jack Hughes and Quinn were saying, this guy led us to a championship. This guy's a gold medalist. That's what the people in Toronto should talk about.
No, I think especially too because like I think you touched on it great too, like how well he back checked, like how many sticks he was getting in important areas, 200 feet, like you said, like in the defensive zone as well. I think that's so interesting too because like, dude, you know who didn't have a great back check when the game ended? Cale Makar or Connor McDavid. And those are two guys who you don't typically. I mean, obviously, Cale Makar is a shutdown world class defenseman, but for it to take a guy like Austin Matthews, who I think sometimes even publicly unfairly too, like gets a. I don't know if it's like a bad rap for not really caring defensively, but like I don't think that's true about him at all.
Matthews, if you watch the games that he plays, if you watch them diligently, I mean, he's consistently back helping his defenseman. I mean, he's a coach's dream to put out there. And for that matter, Eichel is too. I mean, they play very similar in terms of how responsible they are in their own zone and how much of an asset they are to their
shoot
to their defensemen. They can score. I mean, Matthews scored.
Austin Matthews, he had 70 bingos in a season, but
years ago. But just like I think for him, it was so important just with the type of nonsense that surrounds him in Toronto and how often they come at him for not being able to win the big game and everything. Like I understand that they haven't necessarily had the success that has been expected to this point in the playoffs with the groups that they've had, but I've never thought it to be Austin Matthews' fault. I think he's always had his guy in my mind. You want to talk about point totals, he's right around a point a game in the playoffs in the NHL. You want to talk about, effort level and being a presence out on the ice. He's always finding ways to impact the game, even if he's not scoring, he's playing defense, like I said. And just to be able to have a guy that you can put out there like that for close to 20 minutes a night, I mean, that's just it's invaluable. And I'm very happy to see him rewarded and just like you can even see it's like in Toronto, he can't even let his guard down sometimes. Like
can't smile.
Yeah, it seems like this is the first time we've seen Austin Matthews smile in like
maybe that'll help him, man.
Years since he got drafted there, So I was really happy for him. I hope that honestly, like the people in Toronto will just lay off him a little bit. I think that the team would benefit so much if those people just kind of realized that they needed to draw the line in the sand a little bit further back and just kind of chill a little bit with those guys because they've got great teams there, and he's a great example of it. But